Hey, ever wonder if you have what it takes to be an entrepreneur? Stay tuned because I'm sharing exactly what it's going to take to fire your boss. Welcome, guys. I'm so pumped you're here, really digging in to see if you have what it takes to become an entrepreneur. I think you're going to be surprised. This came about, I was talking to one of my friends the other day, and I was sharing a story about when I was in corporate and how misled I was. I was hired away from a competitor, and when I was hired away, they literally doubled my salary. So I went from one salary to double in the matter of 24 hours. And when I left my old job and put in my 2 weeks notice, I was really surprised to hear that they were going to replace me with not one person, but 1.5 people. So for the work that I was doing, 2.5 people's work, getting paid for one person. At first I thought, wow, this is pretty cool. Kind of patted myself on the back and thought, what a huge honor. I am a workhorse, right? I was doing the work of 2.5 people. But here's what I realized. That's not smart, you guys. That is not smart. And that should have been my first clue that I would make a great entrepreneur. It took me quite a few years after that before I was confident enough to take the step out and make it on my own. So instead of making you go through everything that I went through, I wanted to share some key things that I think if you identify with, you have what it takes to be successful in the entrepreneurial space and ultimately fire your boss, okay? I've got my notes down here to keep me on track. But the first one is that you put the work in day after day. You're that consistent person that your boss can count on no matter what. You show up and you get the job done. That is an incredible trait to have as an entrepreneur because you are one of the doers. You are the people that we love to work with, right? That bosses love to have because you always do what you're supposed to do. So if you hear over and over and over that you are someone that can be counted on and that your boss relies on you, that's a clue. The second one is that you're a lifelong learner. And why this is important in the entrepreneurial space is that we never arrive. We're continually becoming the best version of ourselves. And so people that already have that bug inside of them, that lifelong learning bug, you do super good in the entrepreneurial space, all right? So that's number 2. Number 3, how comfortable are you soliciting feedback from others? Are you the person at your day job that's constantly going into your boss's office and going, so what'd you think? How'd I do? What could I do better? Or maybe it's not even always your boss. It's other highly respected executives or your colleagues. Are you always seeking feedback because you want to be the best version of yourself? That's another clue. All right, number 4, you're constantly looking for ways to learn and grow with every single project that you do. Projects that you're really proud of, projects that may even feel a little bit beneath you, you view them all as learning opportunities. That's another clue, you guys. All right, the next one is you're passionate. You're a passionate person, passionate about work, passionate about life, passionate about learning, passionate about your values, passionate about your family. You're passionate. You love life. You guys, entrepreneurs, love life. We're go-getters. All right, that's your next one. Next, you direct your own learning. You're not sitting back and waiting for someone to spoon feed information to you or to help you become something, whatever that something is for the next job. I remember during my corporate days, I was constantly growing because I knew if I continued to grow, I would be putting myself in a really good position for that promotion, right? So are you directing your own learning? Are you kind of that self-guided, self-starter self-directed individual. You'd be a good entrepreneur. Next is highly productive. Do you get stuff done? Do you get in there, get your hands dirty, and make things happen? If you do, that is a great trait for an entrepreneur. We are self-starter, action-oriented people that aren't waiting for everything to be perfect before we move. How about you? Does that describe you? Next, strong-willed and competitive. Oh my gosh, have you guys ever heard that you are so strong-willed and you're so competitive, and it's helped you in your job? That helped me so much in my day job, you guys. But here's what I learned. Why build it for somebody else? You guys can be building for yourself. I know it's scary, and I know it feels like it's less, I was talking to my friend about this, that it felt less secure, or having my day job felt more secure than going out on my own. But this is what I've learned since I've been out in the entrepreneurial space. It's actually way more secure for me to be my own boss than for me to be relying on somebody else or another corporation. You guys, I spent 20 years in corporate America, and this is what I learned. And I was with great companies, highly reputable, great companies. But this is what I learned. When you're at the mercy of somebody else making the decision of what your future is or isn't, you take all of the control outside of yourself. Companies go under, bosses change, politics change. There are so many variables to what your future will be when you put it in the hands of somebody else. But when you step out on your own and you say, I am going to build this for my family, you have taken all of that control back. Is it scary? You bet it is. But bet on yourself. If you have these traits that I walk through, you have the makings of an incredible entrepreneur. Okay, the last one is that you are highly networked. And basically what that means, you guys, is that you value relationships, you understand how to put other people first, you understand how to provide value. And I'm going to tell you, entrepreneurs get that. We get that, all right? So I don't even think that you need all of these things at all. I think you need a handful of them to do very well on your own. So I want you to really think about the list that I shared. I also want you to think about, are you the person that your boss relies on for everything, even if it's outside of your job description scope, right? You're being pulled into projects that really have nothing to do with what you were hired to do. Your boss is continually counting on you to motivate the team, get involved, get projects done. You're the one that always shows up, right? You're working the long hours. I want to encourage you. Whether you believe it or not, you have the makings of an incredible entrepreneur. You have what it takes to fire your boss and become your own boss and your own CEO. Would love to see you on this side. Bye.